Hey, good afternoon. It is still Thursday, July 25th, and I am still Rob, that developer dad. This morning we talked a lot about defects and when those defects get into a public or a semi-public or even just a demo situation, and how that's kind of embarrassing and not much fun and so on. So I want to improve my testing in this code base, and I want to do it and get it kind of nailed down before I start or before I continue on with new work, taking this thing from being sort of a cool little proof of concept or toy to what could be considered a minimum viable product. I've been thinking about using Git hooks around either commits or push requests on the client side of things. But the more I'm thinking about it, the less I believe that's going to actually be something that's useful for the longer term. So instead, what I want to do is look into what it would take to get these things to happen within GitHub rather than on the local machine. Because I don't want them to start getting in my way as I'm trying to iterate through the code base of the project. So I'm going to leave these two in progress. I've got a sample contract test. Let's share my desktop here. So I've got a sample contract test, and it's good enough. And I want to create some automation around testing and building locally. So let's make this our active thing. And I want to come back here, shrink this down, and let's do a rebuild of the solution. And it's restoring, it's doing its thing. Nothing too super exciting just yet. Okay. And let's load up our test explorer. We'll pin that here. And let's bring it up so that it's taking up most of the screen. And what I want to do is we're going to run all the tests. And everything that's currently active is passing. Now I've got two that are ignored right now, and that's okay. I've got those ignored on purpose because they're not actually implemented. And I want to put priority on getting these things running automatically in the source control server environment. So we build successfully, our tests are passing, they're not quite as complete as we'd like them to be. So let's look into what it takes to get some of that happening. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to go back out to the main repository view. Where are you? Right here. And right now we've got some suggested workflows. Build, test, sign, and publish a desktop application built on dotNet? No. Build and test a dotNet or ASP core project? No. I don't want to do either of those because it's not really a desktop application and I don't want to publish it. And it's not an ASP.NET Core project either. So what do we do here? We are going to go to the Google machine, set up automatic build and test workflows in GitHub for a .NET 8 application. And yeah, go ahead, Google, use my own thing. So building and testing.net. So, and this is not something I've ever done before. So we're going to learn together. GitHub hosted runners have a tools cache with pre-installed software, which includes .NET Core SDK, blah, 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 blah. Prereq, we should already be familiar with YAML syntax. I already know that YAML is a pain in the neck to work with, but as long as I'm careful, I can manage, I think. Recommend you have a basic understanding of the .NET Core SDK. All right, I know how to run .NET Build and .NET Test. And let's use a .NET starter workflow. So to get started quickly, add a starter workflow to the GitHub/workflows directory of your repository. I don't believe I even have one of those. I don't. Okay, well, let's see about adding that. So step one, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to copy this URL, paste it into the notes for link to GitHub how to from 7:25 p.m. stream. I'm going to paste this link, the link to this page that I'm working from, in the in this afternoon's project diary entry. So we're on GitHub. We're on the main page of the repository, and under the repository name, click the play button actions. Here we go. Let's go here. And if you already have a workflow in your repository, click new workflow. I don't have a new workflow in my repository. I don't want to do a .NET desktop. I don't want to do deploy .NET Core to Azure Functions or Azure Web App or Amazon or GKE or any of these things. Security, code QL analysis, not yet, but we'll get there. Superlinter, Webpack, Laravel, no. Greetings, labeler, stale, manual workflow. Pages. Let's look at continuous integration because that's sort of what we want to do. Build, test, sign, and publish, no. Let's just say .NET. Can I filter by that? Okay, and it just says build and test to .NET or ASP. Okay, here we go. .NET or ASP.NET Core. All right. Let's grab that, and we'll configure it. On push to main, branches, pull request, branches main. Okay, so far it's doing those things. And name, I want to say .NET build. No. Edit the workflow as required. For example, change the .NET version. .NET YAML, saved here, yeah. Okay, runs on. Ubuntu latest, strategy matrix, .NET version. I don't know what any of this stuff means. That's all a mystery. So, full disclosure, I have no idea what I'm doing. But we're going to figure it out. All right, let's go look at the documentation. That's a whole lot of YAML, and it's doing a whole lot of things that I am not sure I want it to do. So you can configure your job to use a specific version of dotNet, such as 6022. Alternatively, you can use the semantic version syntax to get the latest minor release. Use the latest minor release of dotNet 6. So let's see where that lives. We're using dotNet 8. Actions checkout, setup.net. Okay. So let's scroll down to this build section here. Starts on line 12. So jobs, build, uses .NET version 8.0.x. Okay, I like it. Restore dependencies, build. Okay, we're not using a matrix version. We're just using a specific version. Steps, installing dependencies. We've got the NuGet package manager installed already. .NET test, no build, verbosity normal. And it looks like that's almost everything we want to do. So this looks very much like where we want it to be. So let's commit our changes and see what it does for us. Now this is just branches main, pull request branches main. Let's see about packaging workflow data as artifacts. I don't care about that. We're not pushing to package repositories. Okay. I'm going to open a new tab. Apple T, GitHub Actions, change trigger to include a branch with that matches a pattern. Only run job on specific branch. It's not what I want. Workflow syntax for GitHub Actions. So name, that's the name. Run name is that. On, push, using multiple events on push or fork. Using activity types. Okay, using filters, dash releases, dash star star. Okay. And is there documentation over here? Oh, look at that. Okay. So, on push, branches, and it looks like, first let's commit these changes. Create .NET YAML, creates a basic build and test workflow anytime we push changes or pull request changes into the main branch. And let's just commit them. Okay, so we've got our .NET YAML here. And let's try, we'll edit the file. Instead of branches, it looks like it wants to, I'm going to highlight, excuse me, I'm going to highlight main. I'm going to cut that out. And I'm going to go space dash main and dash feature forward star. Push to a branch that matches the branch's filter occurs instead of when any push occurs. Okay. Using activity types and filters with multiple events on event name types. I don't know what any of this stuff means. I'm going to have to read up on this stuff later and figure out what I want to do. On pull request, branches, main, Mona, AutoCAD releases, workflows skip due to branch filtering, path filtering, or a commit message. Then checks associated with that workflow will remain in a pending state. Excluding branches, I don't care about that yet. On push branches, excluding branches and tags ignored. Let's see here. Is there a way to ignore things where, let's Google this. Ignore if commit message starts with whip. Do not respect skip CI and multi-line commit messages. Commit without including commit messages. Skip GitHub actions on specific commits messages. One GitHub actions workflow. Okay. Skip actions or jobs in my workflow. Skipping when commits contain. Excuse me. And it looks like jobs build on push. Runs on. And I'm going to add, if it does not contain hashtag whip for work in progress. We're going to test this in a minute. Okay. So let's commit our changes. Update dotNet YAML. Sets this up to run when commits are pushed to main or any feature branch, unless the commit message contains hashtag whip. And let's commit these changes. Now we might have to come in and pull this stuff out if it doesn't work. But let's come out to Visual Studio. And I'm going to shrink my test exploder down here. And I'm just going to touch one of these files. Let's add a quick change in here. Let's add a given rule set access is configured, but the rule set is missing. Oops. Here we go. I'm going to pop up here and I'm going to copy a lot of these mocks. So let's grab all of this stuff. And copy that. And we're going to paste it in here. Now, instead of setting up a number of things, let's set these all to 0 to simulate that they miss the required template collections. And then int, I can actually come up here and grab all this stuff. Copy. Paste it down here. And yes, I'm doing a lot of copying and pasting, which means I should probably turn this stuff into a function. And equals 0. And equals 0. We will come out to this test description, get rid of our ignore tag. And rerun all of these townsfolk manager tests. No, I don't. Where is my build error? Where are you at? Building the solution. I don't see any build errors. Let's try running it again. From the last successful build. No, where the hell are the build errors? Build, rebuild. Let's rebuild the solution. It could just be that Visual Studio's confused. It happens. And I might need to just restart it. And 9 is asking me, is there no music? I can hear it. I'm just going to shoot her a text real quick. Let me turn up the music, although that's a little bit distracting now. Okay, I see no errors. I see a bunch of warnings. I don't like those. Nullability of reference types in value doesn't match target type dictionary. What's that complaining about? Get NPC options. And NPC options is a nullable thing, but that never returns a nullable whatever. All right, let's go back to the Test Explorer and try running these again. No, I'm going to restart Visual Studio because it's obviously lost its mind. I have a new follower. Hello, Colin Autoback. How are you? Let's go here. And we'll try it again. Ready to use. Background tasks are still running. Let's just try to run all the bloody tests. Said build succeeded this time. Okay, and that all ran. I don't have any failing tests. Okay, great. So now I can pin that because we're going to do a little bit of Git stuff. And let's take a look at our changes here. Implements the contract test for empty rule set lists. And this is work towards. You're going to give me a list? Not 33. That's not what I wanted. I'm just going to have to look at, nope, here we go. It's going to be a later one. I'm going to have to go look at the page. Let's look here and over here. And this contributes to number 50. Come on. 50. Here we go. All right. Good. And I'm going to commit. And I'm going to push up to treated with exit code 1. So some build failed already. Specify a project or solution file. The currently working directory does not contain a project or solution file. Okay, well, we've already got a test. Here we go. So let's look at the workflow file. Runs on Ubuntu latest, actions checkout, setup.net. Okay, restore dependencies. .NET build, no restore. .NET test, no restore. So I want to see what is going on with this. Can I rerun the job and watch it do its thing? So we're setting up .NET. Home runner work, install .NET sh, yeah. .NET Core, run actions, checkout v4. So you're getting the Git stuff, adding repository directory to the temporary, user being Git config global, yeah. Home runner work, GM tools. deleting the contents of, initializing the repository, setting up auth, fetching, express checkout disable, updating the log, checking out the ref, branch. We're doing all this stuff. Run dotNet restore. Specify a project or solution file. The current working directory does not contain a project or solution. Okay, so I need to somehow in here set my working directory. So in my build step, Apple T, in my GitHub Actions build step, my solution file lives in a subdirectory off root. How should I change the YAML to account for this? Now, like I've said, I have never done this stuff before. I've always had other people to set it up for me. GitHub action must point to this subdir. Okay. This is the Dart YAML. Actions checkout, install dependencies. Yeah. Okay. Steps, install dependencies, working directory _ Dart project. So I should come in to where it's doing the dotNet restore because that's the first place it failed. And set that working directory. All right, let's see what we get. I want to edit. Let's edit. Come down here. .NET version, restore dependencies, .NET restore. Working directory. SRC. Let's see if it accepts that. And we're going to build a little test a little. Fixes the working directory value for the .NET restore command. If this works, we'll apply it to the build and test commands. And apply it directly to the main branch. Now let's come over to Actions. It should be running right now, so we can actually watch this happen. Use our share, GM tools, source, engines, game tools. What is even going on? I wish I could see the folder on this build server. Use our share project file. Was not found. This is very, very goofy. Setup.net. It says it checked things out. Excuse me. But where did it put it? And get version info. Okay, working directory is that. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Defaults, run working directory. GitHub Actions. Let's see if there's a way to troubleshoot these. Apple T, troubleshoot GitHub Actions. It can't find my project files after checkout. Excuse me. 2 projects in the repository. I want to create a deployment. YAML syntax, blah, blah, blah. Actions and packages, in the access section, yeah. All of that stuff. It's finding the repository. Fails with no such file. Check out specific folder directory path. File not found. It's doing something odd to the container. Excuse me. Okay. Source API web client docs. Okay, yeah. Open web client directory step. Step is failing no matter how I configured it. Turns out this is because I had not checked out the repository in a previous step. Files from the repo, you need to perform a checkout first, and that's in there. By dotNet publish. Run ls-la. What's that do? Excuse me. What you have in the subdirectories, you can run find source. Okay. But these are for GitHub actions that only run on GitHub, aren't they? TMP was unable to be found when I was getting the error. Okay. Get directory run ls. Okay. So it seemed, what it looks like it's doing, just from looking at the build file, is it's using an Ubuntu image. The operating system is fine. GitHub token permissions. Yeah. All of that stuff. It's checking out to somewhere. Token, all of that stuff. All right, fine. Git version. Okay, yeah. Doing all the things. Initialized empty Git repo. Okay. Branch can be renamed via this. So this looks compelling, but all right. Sparse checkout, local, unset all extensions, checking out the ref. Here's all this nonsense. I'd really like to be able to see what this container looks like. And restore dotNet dependencies, dotNet root, and all right, let's go to the workflow file again. And I am going to take out this working directory line. But first, what I want to see, if I go back here, I am going to grab all of this stuff, copy it, and put it in a note somewhere. There's that. And it's looking for home, runner, work, GM tools, source, engines, game tools, oh. Source, engines, game tools, dice engine was not found. And I would really, really like to see what's going on when it does this checkout. Like, how do I see where the this doesn't make any sense. This is totally nonsensical to me. Oh, what are you doing? All right. Now, if I take out this working directory, where did I stuff it? Here it is. Let's get rid of that. Commit. Removed working directory parameter to see how it breaks differently. Commit. Let's go back to actions. See what's happening in here. Watch this build. Specify a project or solution file. Okay, so it loses that completely. And then post-job cleanup, it does all the things, complete the job, cleaning up orphan processes, etc. Repository directory of the temporary Git global config is a safe directory. Why is it doing it that way? That's very, very weird. Skip non-version files, runtime.net, channel LTS, okay. But if we look at the folder, oh, what are you doing? We look at the folder stuff. So we've got, here's our working folder. We go into source. This is down here on the local machine. Go to engines, game tools, and then here's my CS proj file that it's complaining that it can't find. But when it creates the stuff up in the server that only exists while we're trying to build, it can't find anything. And it's not giving me any real solid way of troubleshooting that. Excuse me. Running build as GitHub workflow. Steps cannot find the files. Run it manually, running Docker from GitHub Actions. Missing output file. I want to run Docker. Okay, it fails with no such file or directory. Well, let's see what happens over here on platform.io. This is why I hate DevOps. This is why I really, really, really dislike DevOps stuff. Because it's just so much fool around and find out nonsense. And there's not really a good way of troubleshooting what's going on. Let's talk about a system.component Win32. This doesn't help me at all. Not even a little bit. Current output, structure of my repo, blah, blah. This doesn't help. That's useless. Where do the files go in a GitHub hosted workflow when the checkout step runs? Perform a different thing. Workflow basics, triggering, workflow syntax. How about troubleshooting? Can we do that? Is that something we can do? Create an example workflow. And the example workflow ain't working. They're in GitHub Actions YAML. Add the following code. I'm not building with Node. Okay, that's all this crap. Okay, we're checking out the repository, all this stuff. View the activity. Great, that's nice. Using starter workflows. Don't care about storing secrets yet. Or dependent jobs. Or any of this nonsense. Or any of this. Or environments. I just want troubleshooting steps. Like, there's all this documentation about how to set it up, but no documentation about like what to do and how to step through it when it goes wrong. How to debug a GitHub workflow. Downloading the logs. You can read more carefully. Debugging GitHub Actions is a pain. No kidding. Holy cow. Let's see what Harsh Casper has to say here. Okay, running workflows locally using ACT. That's a thought. Okay. Does not offer any debug tools. No kidding. To ensure a green tick. Blah, blah, blah. Best part about using them is the availability of the GitHub API. Okay. Flask, whatever, written in YAML, which is a bloody nightmare. Triggered with every push and pull request. Okay. Into an Ubuntu runner, no problem. Further install the dependencies, run the tests, and link the code base. Yeah, I'd love to. I just want it to execute, man. Let's check how we can further drill in. GitHub user content, Nectos, install out of brew. Okay, check out the jobs listed as part of the GitHub Actions CI. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Verbose option using the Rogany Bow. Local project files are mapped into the app directory. Yeah, this is well beyond what I'm trying to do here. Let's bring GitHub back. Go into the workflow file. Edit this. Wakey. Here we go. Documentation. I am going to put changes on GitHub. And new Google, set working directory for all steps in a GitHub job. Default shell and working directory for a job. Here we go. Let's look in here. Jobs, job ID defaults. Yeah. Defaults. Jobs, build. This is stupid. This is so bloody stupid. I can't even contain myself. Like, who thought using YAML for this stuff was a good idea? Because this is terrible. Build runs on. Let's just freaking do this. Defaults. Run. Working directory. /source. Why not? Nothing else has worked. Steps, users, actions, checkout. Oh. That's not necessarily what I want to do. I'm going to pull this. Set up dotNet, restore dependencies, run. Add it here. Now, I do want to try name directory check run ls dash la, I believe is what I want to do. Working directory /source. All right, we're gonna fool around and find out. Workflow script. I'm about to include a commit comment that's just WTF. Let's come in here and watch it screw around. Okay, so it failed here with exit code 1. Thanks. Directory check. API console client, good. Here's my game tools.solution. And why is it not finding the file? Like, let's take a look at what these project references actually look like. This really doesn't make any sense to me at all. All right, let's go out to the code. Last thing I'm going to look at, and then I'm going to have to call out to some friends who deal with this nonsense on a daily basis and see about maybe getting some help to look at this nonsense, because this is ridiculous. All right. Yeah. So console client, managers, engines. So all these paths look relative. Like, I don't understand what the hell is going on here. Like, the directory check obviously passed. What if I come up here and edit the workflow file and do a directory check on, oh, I want to delete these defaults. Let's get rid of those. Come on, get lost. Oh, I have to be in edit mode. Ugh. Let's nuke that. Goodbye. Okay, now for my directory check, working directory /source /engines / I'm going to need that whole relative URL. Give me a second. GameTools.diceEngine. GameTools.diceEngine / GameTools.diceEngine.cs. No. And I'm going to commit these changes. And all this change that I'm doing right now is going to list the contents of that folder. And something just ticked in my head. And I might do some cursing and swearing at some stupidity. Okay, restore dependencies is fine. It's only failing on these guys. So it's looking for GameTools.diceEngine with a capital T. Here and here. But our directory check, well, right here, that's a lowercase t, which is absolutely freaking delightful. Oh my God. Now out here, semantically, if I look in my engines, capital T here, but if I come out here to, come on, the File Explorer, that's a lowercase t, that's a lowercase t. Good Lord. You have got to be freaking kidding me. Because Windows is not case sensitive with its pathing. Unix, lowercase dog and uppercase dog are two different folders and files. Fetch. Good God. Pull. Get the latest version of main. Build it. Do the things. Come on. All right. I'm going to create a new branch. Fixing defect / no, I'm going to call it feature. Feature / fix file and folder case. Naming case. Create. I can't freaking believe this is the issue. All right, we're going to come in here. First thing we're going to do, rename. Oh, come on. Rename capital T. Come out here. Rename capital T. All right, I should have. It doesn't see the name change. Can I change those names in my repository? Code. Let's create a new branch. Just go to branches, main. I don't want to rename the branch. New branch, duh. Based off main. And bug / rename fix file and folder names. Go. I'm going to come in here, go into source. Engines. This guy. Oh, no, you're not going to let me do that. Can I rename it up here? I don't want to delete the file. I just want to rename the damn thing. Download, copy raw file. Let's copy path. How to rename files in GitHub. Browse the file you want to rename. I'm here. Upper right corner of the file view, click to open the file editor. There we go. In the file name field, cancel. I don't want to discard. There it is. T. Commit that change. Okay. Now, open this up in a new tab. I want to see which other ones were throwing errors. So it couldn't find game tools with a capital T. It could not find townsfolk manager, gametools.townsfolkmanager.tests.csproj. Let's go there next. So we'll come down to tests, come in here, and it's looking specifically for pull this over here. Tests with a capital T. Are you seriously not going to let me change the name of this? Can I rename the path? Nope. How to rename folders in GitHub. Go into your directory and click on settings next to the little cog. Let's go to settings. Repository name. I don't want to rename the repository. I just want to rename a subfolder. This is really weird. Code. Okay, I'm on the bug fix file, and I want to hit dot. I just learned about this fun little shortcut. That's neat. So if I come into source, rename, so that it's got a capital T. Come into engines, rename, give it a capital T. Let's see what other files it was complaining about. Game tools rule set D&D 5e SRD. Let's come in here. Rule sets. Game tools with a capital T. Rule set with a capital S. D&D upper lower upper 5 lower E SRD. Let's pop this. And it's looking for game tools dot. I'm going to just do this. This is silly town. I'm going to copy it directly out of where it lives over here. Rename to what it's looking for. There. And now, so I've done that to rename all the crap. Stage and commit the changes. Fixing cases of folder file names. to make the build happy. Yeah. Commit and push. Off you go. I want to go back. Back some more. There we go. Had recent pushes 17 seconds ago. Let's make sure these changes happened. There's tests with a capital T. Where is engines gone? Engines, game tools.dice engine. Good. Good. Let's go back to code. Compare and pull request. Are you going to let me? Just assign me. Create my pull request. It may or may not let me merge automatically. Good. Squash and merge. Do it. Go. Delete the branch. Get lost. Come over to actions. It's building. All right. I'm going to have to mess with this offline. I think I'm on the right track, but I need to call it quits for the afternoon. I'm going to keep playing with this offline, but I'll stop using up stream time. But I have a feeling that once I get this stuff sorted out, it'll be okay. And then I will review all of this nonsense tomorrow in the morning stream. So take care, everybody. I am that developer dad. And yeah, this stuff is a pain in the neck. And I don't enjoy it. But we got to get through it. So we're going to figure it out together. Take care, everybody.